You are listening to all Burgundy and Gold, everything with the urban sports scene on Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia. Wole, Ray, and Mo are your hosts. Also, we have George Carmi from the Full Press Cover Washington on the show. Hey, George, what's going on, my man? And welcome to all Burgundy and Gold, everything with the urban sports scene. Had to catch myself.
What's good, fella? What's good, man? I'm doing all right, man. Thank you for having me today. I'm happy to be here, man. How you doing?
Doing good, man. That's what happens when you have like multiple shows. You forget what show you're on.
Constantly grinding. I get you, man. I'm with you.
Hey, George, it's kind of a tradition of ours that all of our guests have to say everything just to see how it comes out.
A little thing right there.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
I got you, man. There we go.
I love it.
I'm from the DMV. I got it, man. We're good.
I know that's right.
I know.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Who said it though? Who said it like that we didn't expect to say it correctly?
Diane Cheesebro.
Diane Cheesebro.
Okay,
yeah, she said it. I was like,
that's
oh,
awesome,
snap.
man. That's good stuff. All right, cool.
Yeah, Diane was kind of dope when she said it. I was like, oh my God, I was surprised. Hey, so George, before we start talking about the topics at hand, can you tell our listeners about your podcast?
Yeah, what's up, guys? So I'm George Carmi from FullPressCoverage.com. I write for I'm the managing editor, and I'm one of the lead writers at that webpage over there. We recently started a podcast called Full Press Washington. We're on our 5th episode, kind of building up our crowd over there. I was talking to Wole on on Twitter, kind of messing around and talking to him. We've been friends on Twitter for about a couple of years now. Yeah, finally on the pod. I'm happy to be here, and you guys definitely are more than welcome to come on at any given time and give us a listen on Spotify and Apple, iTunes and all that stuff. We're all everywhere. So cool. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Appreciate having you on. We actually had Trevor on the show.
For real? That's my boy, cool. Dude. Yeah, it's my boy.
Trevor's cool.
Good
he talked about how you got him started and basically Trevor's a dope person.
He is, man. Really cool. Mm-hmm. I see him every basically he has season tickets. I'll see him all the time down at FedEx. Good times.
Yeah, he's all for it. Yeah, I know Trevor's definitely all for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully when I go to the game, I get to see you all. I was there at the Giants game.
Okay, cool.
Know what I mean? So hopefully if I can make it out there again,
hit us up, man. We'll be down there.
Definitely chat up with you guys.
So yeah, while you're subscribing to George's podcast, you can also subscribe to ours on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Of course, just search all Burgundy and Gold. Errrything, that's 3 R's with the Urban Sports Scene. Also tweet us at Urban Sports Scene and hit us up on our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page.
It's pre-gaming time. This is what we have on tap. We'll recap the Washington football team defeating the Atlanta Falcons 34-30 and their upcoming game against the New Orleans Saints. All right, like I mentioned.
Oh.
What? Huh? What'd you say, Mo?
Listen, man.
What you want to say?
Washington football team, right? Beat raised Atlanta Falcons after they beat.
I need you to say it. I see. Okay.
Right? So
look, man, Mo, when we beat the Giants, I took it easy on you too, man. I'm not that type of person.
Oh, hold on. Was that a shot at me?
I think so.
It wasn't a shot. It wasn't a shot. I was just stating the fact that the 2 wins that the Washington football team had.
Having the Giants.
Here, man. There you go. I like that. Okay, good stuff.
Facts. I got you.
We're family. What Burning Man?
Well, hats up to you, man. I appreciate that. That's good stuff.
I wouldn't be salty either way, but listen, Washington, they got some issues.
To come out.
No. They do, but I said it on the post game show. Listen, the talent is too much to ignore, and the fact that they beat the Giants and Falcons don't mean much because they're more talented. They're supposed to win those games. Bottom line, you know what I'm saying? Even though because of the showing, I didn't think they would do it, but hey, I had my fan hat on last week. It's all good.
I was just saying that Wole has a leg up on both of his co-hosts, on both of.
I respect your guys. I'm trying to play this.
He's keeping a level. I got you, Wole. That's how I hear you, man.
I'm trying to be cool with it. I see you coming from. I peep game. I appreciate you.
Good looking out, man. It's nice.
I appreciate you, man. I know what you're doing. I appreciate you too. All right. So, the Washington football team, like I mentioned, the Washington football team beat the Atlanta Falcons 34-30. Taylor Heinicke led the team down the field for a game-winning touchdown to J.D. McKissick. George, what were your thoughts on Washington's overall performance?
Overall, man, it's hectic and sporadic, right? Like, how can you take away walking away from that game? You could be happy with a W, with a win, but you just, as Ray mentioned, there's flaws in the actual game. Like, is it sustainable? Can we keep this going for a game to game, for week to week? And I don't know if we can actually say that. One thing I do take away is I do think for one, Terry McLaurin, he's a wide receiver one, man. He's a beast, right? Like no matter who throws in the ball, he produces. He catches the 50-50 balls. Heinicke, I'm very critical on him. I do have to give him his props. He put up 343 total yards. He had a QB rating of 121.7, no picks, 1 sack. I mean, he's doing his thing, right? So he definitely was holding it down for us. Altogether, I think our offense is holding it down. Going into the season, we easily thought that our defense would be carrying the team. It's not that way right now, guys. It's the offense. So we scored 30 plus points 2 of the last 3 games. And, who knows what's going to happen the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. I do think our defense is talented. They're not showing it right now. On the individual level, Montez Sweat and Jonathan Allen are really standing out, but the communication on the back end is definitely a problem. And we talked about it before, Wole, before the show started with William Jackson. He's a high price free agent. We thought he was going to dominate. He's that press man corner. He's just not communicating with his safeties and just killing us right now. So if we can straighten that out, maybe our season can be straightened out too. But right now we have some deficits. I'm happy at 2-2, and I think it's where we're supposed to be, beating the Falcons and the Giants, but losing to the Chargers and the Bills. I think it's where we're at right now, 2-2.
Yes, it's funny, right? It's how you get there, because initially when you look at the schedule coming out, if you're a fan, you're like, oh, we can go 3-1 or whatever. That's some fans, but a lot of people said 2-2, right? Let's be real.
I think so. Yeah, being objective.
You can be 2-2 because a lot of people are high on the Chargers, and obviously Buffalo being a team that everybody's high on. Mm-hmm. So you being at 2-2, just looking at it, we're talking about before the season, you're like, okay, it's not a bad record, 2-2, but just again now going and looking at every game for what it is, and you're like, you know what, you played poorly in most of these games defensively, right? And going into the season, you thought if this team was going to be ran by its defense, it's not going to be ran by its offense. That's why I don't really have. I mean, everybody, I joke around and talk about the offensive coordinator, Scott Turner. I'm not the biggest Scott Turner fan. Everybody knows. I'm not going to play it off. But at the end of the day, like, their team is scoring 30, they're scoring 29 points. So if you had told me in the beginning of the season, if you were able to score this amount of points, I would say they'll be good, because because I look at their defense. I've never looked at their offense as anything. I've never thought, even with Fitzpatrick as a quarterback, I wasn't thinking that they were going to be like a top 10 or top 5 offense. I thought their defense would hold them down. Yeah. And the offense would give you about 20, and that'd be fine, 20, 24 points, and that'd be fine. But now look on the flip side, the offense is carrying the team. And I think that's just something that cannot happen. As the season goes on, I think all defenses will figure it out. So they need to get to a point where their defense has to step up.
I think, honestly, that's the name of the game for our whole season, right? If our defense rises to the occasion, and if Heinicke can stay healthy, right? I do think he's a small guy. If you actually see him, standing next to McKissick, Antonio Gibson, he's smaller than those guys, right? So if he gets hit a couple times, gets knocked out for a couple games, there goes our season there. But I do think we have the potential. And, before we jump into, go around the whole horn for all of us, before the season started, I'm an objective, practical fan, right? I predicted 8-9 is what I thought for Washington. So I think 2-2 is kind of where we're at. I think the Cowboys are probably going to win the division at 10-7. Is kind of what I envisioned. Hopefully we can kind of knock them off, but this is kind of where I expected 2-2. I think we're, balanced effort. I think maybe we can get the Saints game and pull it off. They're kind of up in the air, and then Kansas City, man, it's going to be a reckoning. I think we're going to, it's going to be Tyreek Hill, man. Tyreek Hill show on us to come up that game, man. So let's see what happens. Yeah, it'd be tough.
Ray, you had something. I could tell you had something you wanted to say. I could tell by your
face. I'm not a Scott Turner guy. This show, we're not Scott Turner fans, of course. And a special teams touchdown is what made the difference too at the end. So I don't hate that Scott Turner's team do 40, whatever. No,
I mean, it's still 20. You know what I mean, right? It's 20 is better. You know what I mean? With the Heinicke, dog.
But anyway, listen to what George just said. If Heinicke goes down, there goes our season. The season is now hinging on Taylor Heinicke.
It's wild, right?
It's crazy, right?
Who could have called that? Who could have predicted it? It took Mo up until this Atlanta game to cross over to the Heinicke side, which is interesting because we've been kind of loving Heinicke, just how he leaves his heart out there on the field, every game since the Tampa game. But Mo was like, nah, now we get it. Candyman, Heinicke, all that bull crap that he spouted out a couple weeks ago. And now Heinicke's actually the man. I love the fact that he was smiling. He was smiling coming out on the field down 8. That showed, I'm confident that I'm going to lead my team to a score, even though Terry got away with a push-off. Again, that's my fan hat right there. But, I'm joking. Dude, the officiating was horrible. But real talk, Dante Fowler, on that drive, had him wrapped up, and he got out of that sack. To me, that's the biggest play, because if you get that sack for Atlanta, I don't think Washington wins that game. So Heinicke made the winning plays, and that's important.
Yeah, for real. Like, I'm sorry to jump ahead. Go ahead, Mo. So go ahead. You got it.
No, I was saying, George, Heinicke has won me over in the sense that if I'm going to be critical of you, when you do perform, I'm going to acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Do I think he's the long term? I'm not sure. It's only been a small sample size. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But as of right now, the way he's playing, he deserves to be the quarterback of this team. As of right now, I don't care if Fitzpatrick comes back next week. He shouldn't be playing.
I agree with you.
The way that this guy is, he's deliberate with the ball. He knows where he wants to go. And just like a backup, a typical backup, he knows who to get the ball to. Get the ball to 17 a lot.
That's all it is. That's what
Get the ball to 17 a lot.
I think 50% of his throws with the Terry McLaurin last week, and all the other wide receivers at 20 yards or less. Think about that. How crazy is that? It's nuts, right?
It's such a disparity between Terry's production and the rest of the receiving core, and all of this is happening without the presence of a dominant run game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
AG is still only getting like 13 to 14 carries a game, and it's not supposed to add up.
Mm-hmm.
But with the defense not playing as well as we know it can, and this team continuing to be in games outside of the Buffalo game, Heinicke has to continue to start.
No, I agree.
When Ray's making fun of me coming over, I'm just
welcome, man. Come on over, man. We're good. We're good.
I'm just pointing out the obvious. The quarterback situation was a mess from Jump Street.
I love to see Mo's narrative change. I love it. It's so amazing. I'm just having flashbacks before the playoff game. I'm like, start Heinicke. Alex Smith looks hobbled. If you wanna win this game, don't start Heinicke. Don't do it. You know, Mo be getting the clapping and pointing and stuff. He was making a point. He was like, he leaned into the camera.
I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong. The kid played tough against Tampa. They still lost.
That's all you can ask for, though. Yeah. He competes. That's all I'm saying.
That's why I like. Okay, so that's the thing. We talk about this all the time. What I like about the kid, because I just like people who compete. Like I'm not for it. I'd rather you compete and get blown out than just like play lazy. I need you to compete. What I like about this kid is that he just competes. And I'm not gonna say he's a franchise quarterback. I'm not doing that. But what I will say is that what I will say about him is that he gives you an opportunity because he's not trying to lose. Even the Buffalo game, he was trying to make plays because he wasn't trying to go down swinging.
You can see it.
Yeah. Dumb passes, but he wasn't trying to go down swinging. You know what I'm saying?
I see a small comparison to Kirk in the sense that he wasn't expected to be the quarterback for the team, and he can come and he can put up numbers and he can possibly take this team somewhere, even if he's not thought of as the franchise.
You know what's funny, Mo? I was actually going to say something similar, right? So I was going to say he's the anti-Kirk, right? So basically when Kirk Cousins took the field, you wouldn't really expect him to take over the game in the fourth quarter, right? But for some reason or another, I'm starting to believe in Taylor Heinicke, right? Like, like I do think with him with the ball, he is a gamer. You see him fighting. I do appreciate that and I respect that too. Like I'm going to kind of be critical and talk about him in that regard in a second, but like going into the fourth quarter, with the ball in his hands, he's going to get he made one mistake against the Giants, but for the most part, he stays cool, calm, and collective. And some people have that it factor. Like I'm not saying he has like Aaron Rodgers it factor, but some people can like slow down in the moment and basically kind of it's not too big for him. And he just shows that repeatedly game after game. And if you think he played in the playoff games against the Buccaneers, against Tom Brady. His first real start was against the Giants on Thursday Night Football, right? The national game that way. And then he goes up to the Buffalo, which is
Washington.
What's that?
I'm sorry, I said we know Washington has not been good on prime time.
Oh yeah, no, exactly right. Yeah, I think we're 4-0 under Rivera now, which is pretty cool now. Yeah, but for years, man, like 1-8 or whatever it is. Yeah. So yeah, I think I do like the moxie that he has. I do like the gamesmanship that he has.
Word.
And Danucci, that was one of those.
That's the word right there. Moxie. Moxie is the word. Moxie is the word.
Let me say one last thing though. So with him. Like when I'm watching the game, this is my honest assessment. Like I'd like this game. I think he's good for this year. If he develops into something further, then maybe next year. But right now, I just don't see it. I see a lack of arm strength. I see some like poor decisions. Like the touchdowns that he had, they're fun, but dude, they're so unpredictable. It's like a punt. He did that one punt to Terry McLaurin, like a little rainbow up in the end zone. And that McKissick play, I got to give it to him. That's some backyard football. It's like, dude, just kind of sailing around. You throw it to your boy. He catches it. He runs it for an end zone. But like, if you guys watch the game again, he laid his wide receivers out. He left them high and dry. Like he threw like Antonio Gibson had to leave a couple plays because he kind of like threw a high pass. Antonio Gibson got popped at to walk off the field. Same thing with Terry McLaurin. It's like that ball placement, that throwing it a second late, letting the cornerback recover, that sets up the wide receiver. So he does have that. So it's kind of watch that moving forward. Like watch out for that, guys.
You know, he reminds me of though. You know, he kind of reminds me of, and I said this on Twitter. Like it kind of reminds me of like, and in the beginning. And that's when he was like when they were just trying to see what they had. And Tony Romo, kind of because he plays a lot of he plays a lot of backyard football. Because Tony Romo, when he first started, when Bill Parcells was talking about him, he was trying to rein him in. Like Bill Parcells was trying to rein him in early, and he would do a lot of like he would do the same thing. He would scramble around, trying to like go one end of the field, and then try to throw it, you know, across his body. He would do all of that stuff. That's what he kind of reminds me of. And he's more of that type of attitude where, you know, I'm just trying to make a play. Like that's all. I'm just trying to make a play. Like I'm not trying to throw the ball away. I'm trying to make a big play. He kind of has that feel to me. But you're right though. I just think that there's a lot of like you said, there's a lot of the arm strength is questionable. I'm all about being accurate anyway. So if he's accurate, I'm cool with it. But you're right. He was late on a couple passes. There was one pass that it was almost picked off where he did have Scurry open. He threw it. If he anticipated it, he pump faked it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If he anticipated it, that's a big play. But instead, that should have been picked off because he waited so long.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we got to be a little fair to the kid, man. I mean, he's talking about 4 games in his whole career. Yeah, 5 games in his whole career. Like, I think that comes with timing. This kid, he's a rookie. However you want to look at it, he's a rookie. He can't talking about from. I mean, he hasn't played a whole season yet. He played 1 game in Carolina. He played a playoff game here, a big playoff game. Almost pulled it off. Almost doesn't count in football. But you talk about the way he's competing this year since Fitzmagic has been out. I mean, I gotta say that I think he's earned the opportunity to show us whether he is or he isn't, and I'm looking forward to seeing the progression. You know, in young quarterbacks. So I'm looking forward to see you're talking about a young quarterback, talking about a quarterback that played at a lower outside of a Power 5 conference. Talking about a guy that came from an alternate football league. He was an accountant or something of the nature.
Like an engineer or something. He's a real smart guy. Actually.
You know what I mean? And here he is leading comeback drives. You know what I mean? I got to give him some credit, man. And when I'm hard on players, but when they do well, I got to be equally. I guess that's the teacher in me coming out, Wole, right? I'm hard on my kids, but when they do well, I'm gonna celebrate you more than anybody else. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of this Taylor Heinicke experiment.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. It's an exciting time. I mean, in terms of just the game-winning drives, I think that's something dope that is going on with them. It's like I think George, you stated it, like you start to believe, like. A lot of times when you're a Washington fan, you're like, "Oh, this is about to happen. Like something bad's going to happen."
Yeah, 100%.
Like that last drive. That's
we're jaded.
We're jaded. Like we're gonna. Oh, this is going to happen. Like he's going to turn the ball over. He's going to throw an interception. Now it gets to a point where, when he has the ball last and there's an opportunity to kick a field goal, forget a touchdown, kick a field goal or whatnot. You have faith that he's going to take you to that, get you to a level where you can kick a field goal. Whatever happens with that field goal, it's a whole different. Whatever happens with that field goal, it's a whole different thing. But he'll get you in a position to get a game-winning field goal or a game-time field goal. So that's the thing. But in terms of other than Taylor Heinicke, what were some of your other bright spots, or who were some of your bright spots in that game?
You me?
Yeah, you, George. So
you
just start, bro. You just start.
Oh no, thanks. I appreciate it. So obviously Terry McLaurin stood out. I thought he was a wide receiver 1. I think he had over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown and on 13 targets. Montez Sweat, man, people sleep on him. I love Montez Sweat. That's why I'm rocking the jersey right now. I mean, he held it down. He had 3 sacks on the season, but I think he is. I was looking at some PFF stats the other day. I think he has a 91.1 grade. He's a 7th rated edge rusher in the entire league right now. And he blew up a couple rushing plays, which I thought was really great. Really made me proud there. Jamin Davis, I'm not saying he's fantastic, but he's showing some growth, and it's going to be interesting to see him with more playing time with John Bostic being out. And if you want to keep it up, like our offensive line, like we have to give Taylor Heinicke credit. He was sacked 1 time. Granted, I think Ray mentioned it. Like he was wrapped up, and there was a couple of times where he created on his own. But our offensive line's been doing really well. I think Charles Leno, excuse me, and Chase Rouillet, they think they had like pretty high scores in PFF as well, and they had no pressures. I think the entire offensive line gave up 2 pressures the entire game, so that's awesome. So I think, we have the formula. We have a quarterback that improvises. We have an offensive line that's doing well. We do have some playmakers and McLaurin. It stinks that Logan Thomas went down, but now it's time for our defense to step it up, man. I guess the secondary is the biggest thing for me. Like Montez Sweat's standing out. John Allen's doing his thing. Payne's popping every once in a while, but it's like, man, our cornerbacks, man, like, I don't even know. Like it's, we got William Jackson. Kendall Fuller is not really like transitioning well to a slot corner. Like he's getting burned once a game pretty much. And Bob McCain got eaten up on that deep pass to Cordero Patterson. So I don't know. I don't even know if it's coaching or if it's the players, but I think honestly, I think it's the players. I think I think
it's players. Okay.
I think it's the players. And I think my other thing, I don't know if you saw it on like one of my tweets while but like I think our defense is kind of like they're not disguising their packages that well. And I don't know if it's like because our team's young and we're just like, maybe they're not like had that built up chemistry, but like if you were you guys all follow the game, but like Buffalo, they did a really good job of disguising their coverages. Like, is it cover one, cover two? Man, it's like, Matt Ryan was doing these hard like cadences, and our corners would kind of like pretend to blitz, or linebacker would step up. He knew exactly where to go. So like, if you really watch the game, it'd be like a hard count. Then Collins would pretend to step in, and then you're supposed to fill the pocket. That's how you play football, right? So when basically the guy's blitzing in it, you throw right over that guy that's blitzing him. And that's what it was over and over again. Like that was third down, and we're getting eaten up on that. So yeah, it was awful stuff.
No, I agree in terms of like obviously in terms of the positives. Scary. Well, Scary is an animal. It is what it is. Like I think, and you said it before. I think the talk is done. Like he's a number one. Like he's a number one. That's how Heinicke's treating them, and I feel like that's great when you have. Who your best player is on the offensive side of football. You feed them, and it's a good and this. I mean, just in any sport, who the ball is going to, and you're not able to stop it. So you already know that puts you on a whole different level. McKissick has been one of the more underrated players on this offense for the last couple seasons. 2 years, and all he's done is made plays for his football team. They're one of the more valuable, consistent players on his football team. So he was a big positive for me. I think, to be honest with you, I gave him a lot of flack because I was talking about Diami so much, but I think Curtis Samuel had an impact in this game too. And Ray and I talked about it on our show. That's true.
I don't know if it feels that way.
Yeah, I know. I thought that Diami would take his job, but he's been that in that short. I mean, the short sample size of 25 plays.
His presence helped. His presence helped.
It helped. You know what I mean?
Like, it did help. And
he was in a fourth down play. He
had 3 first downs on consecutive.
That's huge. That's huge, Mo. Don't minimize it. That's huge. But his team, that is huge, man.
Yeah, it is huge.
That team,
I think he helped by taking attention away from Terry.
I think so too. Yeah.
If he's fully healthy, he's going to create another element to our offense where he definitely has that like a speed factor that like he can do anything. He can do like jet sweeps, runs.
Guys,
we're 31st in the league in third down conversion, by the way. We're that bad. But go ahead, Mo. What are you going to say?
The question was the bright spot of the Falcons game, and it's DeAndre Carter.
Oh yeah,
I
wasn't done yet, bro. I was just talking about
what's the name. Kickoff return. That's like the first kickoff return.
You know what?
Brandon Banks.
Yeah, since Steve
Sims
2019. Steven Sims had one.
It's only 2 years. It seems longer.
Honestly, yeah, kickoff. Hit a kickoff too.
Yeah, the kickoff
too.
Yeah, Steve said I was there. I think I was at that game.
I'm about to say we don't see too many special team touchdowns with the Washington football team. And
Facts. I mean, I think you watch the game. One thing I like about DeAndre Carter, if you watch them with his kickoff returns, even punt returns. I mean, what I like about him is he goes straight up.
He don't waste no time.
He don't waste no time. And you can see it in preseason that he was going to be better than the rest. Like you can see it. To me, I said this on Twitter. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like I think he's the second best returner, and in a short sample size with this team since B. Mitch. And I like Brandon Banks a lot. But this is a little different because it's more he gets you positive yardage.
You lost Ray.
24/7.
You lost Ray.
No, because B. Mitch is always the standard. James Thrash was vicious, man.
But he wasn't.
I like James Thrash.
Yeah, James Thrash. But this is different. But this is different, bro. Like this is different because he always is different. It's different.
I need to see. I need to say it longer before making declarations like that.
I'm about to say Brandon Banks.
Exactly.
Brandon Banks
Look, I'm cool with saying it. Look, I like.
Are you kidding me?
Smoke. I'm about that.
But Carter, what I do like about Carter gets angry when he doesn't actually catch the ball. You guys ever peep at all? He gets pissed.
He gets temper tantrum and all. He got temper tantrum.
I like that. He has
the edge, right, George? He has an edge.
He does have an edge. A little white little edge.
Right. You want to see that in your players. He's already diminutive, right? And then he only plays majority of his snaps on the special teams, and he cashed out, man. I think that punt return went a long way. I think if they don't score on that drive, it's a 2-possession game at that point, right?
Fact.
That's true.
And it's a more of an uphill climb to come back.
And the game was like in the brinks too. Like we're on the ropes right there. And if I remember correctly, it was a kickoff in the second half, right? The first kick in right there. First right back in the game, yeah.
And then the kicker missed the kick. The kicker missed the kick.
Dude, Hopkins,
after Ron defers, stop deferring.
Stop
Ron,
deferring.
Stop deferring. I agree.
Yeah,
why keep putting the weakest unit on the field?
We're down every single week, man.
Like, why do you keep putting the weakest unit on the field? It's like it's insane. It's insane.
I got a question. You talked a lot about the defense, but another aspect of this team, we're talking about special teams, is obviously the kicker. You brought in a guy named Blewett. So what does that mean moving forward? For Dustin Hopkins, right. And what's your Dustin Hopkins thought? Because a lot of people love this dude. Like, he is the most beloved.
He's a nice guy
that we've seen in a while. Yeah, you could be a nice guy, but you're not producing.
I'm over Ray, man. I'm over Ray. I don't care about your personality, man. It's a numbers game.
Look at
man.
Dwayne.
Numbers don't lie, man. And it's like
they carry Dwayne.
And for a couple years, they crushed Dwayne. By the way, yeah, you're right about that. But like, it's a numbers game. He has one job. I think, like, you know,
one job.
I mean, I don't know. It's a number. It's like
perfect quote.
His thing, right? People. The reason why Rivera likes him, from what I gather, is that he can kick it back in the back of the end zone. Like, he gets touchbacks over and over again. That's one of his things. And supposedly, he has a strong leg, right? He can be consistent, but he's not good past 40 yards. Whenever he comes out to kick, I don't know how you guys feel. I catch my breath. I'm like, this guy's gonna miss the ball. Like, it's one of the. I'm more anxious with him kicking the ball than like third down conversions, fourth down conversions. Like, I don't trust the guy at all.
Yeah.
I think we should bring somebody in, but like, Ron Rivera is notorious for being loyal. I don't know if you guys.
Yes, it is. He is very loyal.
He's very loyal to anybody. Going back, look at our staff right now. We have the Washington Panthers right now because he's so loyal to everyone that's behind him, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's going to get rid of him. Maybe give him the rest of the season, but like, it's becoming inexcusable. He almost lost us that game. So, I mean, I think the leash is very, very short. If I was Ron Rivera, I continue to. He has brought in people, but like, it's time to start putting more pressure on him. And I don't know. I mean, for me, like, I don't know what the actual available kicking situation is out there, but I think you got to find someone from college or someone that like is out there on the streets. You can find somebody to kick the ball, man. I don't know.
Well, you can find a kicker, man. Like, you can really find a kicker. I feel like with this loyalty thing, I don't even know what it can be anymore. Like, this is getting a little bit over the top. It's to a point where so I think Ray mentioned Dwayne, right? And we crushed Dwayne. And it's like, all right. And everybody understood it. Like, Dwayne wasn't playing good, so you got rid of him. You know, and he was immature, but he wasn't a nice guy. I guess that's the thing, because Hopkins is such a nice guy. He is a nice guy. He's a very nice guy. Like, I like this. I use that anytime I have to describe him. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
So like, but he's horrible right now. I'm sorry. I think it's been ever since the London kick, he hasn't been the same. Like, he's been a kicker that just hasn't found his way. And it's definitely mental. It's definitely mental. But we all know that that's the first thing to go with a kicker. And once your mental is gone, your damage goods, because once you miss one, it's like you're going to miss them all. Like, that's what you believe.
But let me throw this back at you guys. Let me know what you think, right? So over the years, we've had kickers like that kind of like have had that mental game and kind of lost their edge, like Graham Gano and things like that, right? But they kind of found their footing and regained it again. Do you think there's any potential with DeAndre?
No, he's not Graham Gano.
He's not Graham Gano.
Graham Gano had, like, the issue with Graham Gano had a different situation. Okay. Like, Graham Gano had block kicks. He would have like some silly stuff, and his kicks he really missed were long ones. He didn't really like he's missing 30. Like, there is no, you mentioned past 40. There is no kick that I trust with this dude. Like, there is no kick. Like, every kick is scary. Like, every kick. And I'm sitting there thinking, I remember even the McKissick touchdown. My brother and I argued. He was like, McKissick should have just stopped at the 2-yard line. I was like, no. He shouldn't stop at no 2-yard line. You don't trust this dude. Like,
during the game, like during the Falcons game, right? I was getting so pissed off at Hopkins. Like, dude, go for 2 every single time, right? And if you get, I mean, I'm not even funny. I'm like, dude, fucking. Sorry, it's okay. Like, dude, go for 2 every single time. I'm good. All right, cool. And it's like, dude, if you get it 50% of the time, you're gonna break even. You're basically gonna get that point. I mean, that's where it was, man. That's where we were in the game, man, for real. Yeah. And 2 missed kicks in this game. He really did cost us the Giants game. We were lucky that he had the recap on that, man. So. I don't know, man. Living on the edge right now.
I'm saying, like, Ron got to get the wolf. I'm serious. Ron don't want to do. He got to get the wolf because he got to handle this. Man. Like, Ron don't want to handle it. Get somebody else to handle it. Because obviously, like, you don't want to hurt this man's feelings because he's too nice. Get somebody else to handle it. Say, you know what? I'm locking your door. I'm locking Ashburn down. You ain't getting nothing. Your stuff is outside. Go pick it up on the street. Bye.
Yo, Bruce Allen would have fired him.
ASAP.
I don't like Bruce Allen. Bruce Allen's ruthless though. He's
ruthless.
Yeah, you don't get it. He fired him, man.
ASAP.
He would have, man. He would have.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's crazy, but yeah, that's a dangerous situation right now. What's going on, because he can cost you games.
He could,
and that's the thing. He can cost you games, and I don't think it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
Nah, man.
Ray, show time. Ray, you got the read, or you want me to do it? You want me to handle it, bro?
Listen, we were going strong, brother. Don't do that. I've been on my game every time.
I know.
You're listening to All Burgundy and Go, everything with the urban sports scene. We are chatting with George Carmi from Washington. Full press coverage, Washington. Why is Washington on there twice? Whose fault is that?
It's all
mine. Good though.
It's probably
me. I don't even know what team I'm covering. It's all good, man. There you go.
It's probably my fault. I apologize, Ray. Sorry.
Hey, listen. You're fine, brother. But it's on you next, man. Because I don't think we need to talk about the injuries on defense. It's clear the defense is struggling as it is. Of course, the injuries hurt. Dallas just released somebody though. So maybe that might be an option for the Washington.
Okay, yeah, okay. So we can talk about that.
If y'all want to discuss that real quick.
Let's go. So Dallas released Jaylon Smith. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Bostic's out for the year because of the torn pec. Is that a player that you would like, George? Is that a player you think Washington should make a call and see if he can come in, just a workout or whatever, just to talk to see if they want to sign him?
I would. I definitely would. I think, to be honest with you, I kind of been following Jaylon Smith, the Cowboys, to kind of keep your eye on them, keep an eye on your rivals and everything. He has shown like some deficiencies, right? He can't keep up with running backs in space. Like there's like one really bad clip where it was like a wheel route. He just got cooked. I'm like, and like the actual like title of the tweet was like, Jaylon Smith is washed. And I was like, okay, maybe he is washed, right? I basically saw that and I was like, all right. So I don't even know, like, I do think that there are limitations with him, but I think, take a flyer on him. He was a Pro Bowl player a couple of years ago. He's still young. I do believe in that rivalry factor, like him coming from basically Dallas into Washington. We can get some insight on what Dallas is all about. And honestly, we only kept 4 linebackers from the offseason going into this season, so we are at a deficit. Losing John Bostic, why not, man? I mean, he's more athletic than John Bostic, in my opinion. Right now, yeah. John Bostic was more cognate. He was more of a smart linebacker, but I think, Jaylon Smith can do it, and we have nothing to lose. I think we picked up, like, I don't even know.
Practice squad?
Yeah, we got there's a linebacker that we picked up today. His brother's the fullback of the 49ers or whatever. I forget his last name, like Jurasek or something like that. Yeah, but like, I think Jaylon Smith's an upgrade over him. And, I would keep my eye out for all linebackers. Why not? So I'd definitely give him a shot. Have him try out. Why not?
What about Reuben Foster? I'm always the Reuben out there. I'm a Reuben Foster guy.
Man,
he's been working out with folks, bro. I'm just telling you. Don't do that to me.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man, I'll be 100% candid with you and the fans and everything, right? Yeah. So going into the draft, Reuben Foster was my guy, man. I wanted Reuben Foster. You know how he fell to 31 that year? Yeah. I wanted him. Like, we took Jonathan Allen and I was disappointed, right? And, in retrospect, you're going to be like, oh, man, I was an idiot for even thinking that. But, like, Reuben Foster was that dude in college, man. Yeah. Like, and I was excited. I was like, dude, we're going to have this, like, he's a hot, missile. He's going to light people up. And I was really excited about him. And I was pumped. Like, it was very controversial to get him on Washington. I was like, you know what? Dude, I don't care if you're a nice guy. Like we're talking about with Dustin Hopkins. I want players on my team. Yeah. So I was willing to have him, but we had him in house for 2 years. We kind of know what we were getting with him, and they still released him. And he has some immaturity issues, and I'm sure you followed it. But Ryan Anderson was his boy, and Ryan Anderson was like the mature one, the stable one to kind of keep him in check. Now Ryan Anderson's left, so. I don't know, man. Reuben Foster isn't high on my radar. I think we can do better than that. But if you're forward, I'll follow you while I got you, man. You can go there if you want. Go ahead.
Look, I've already added him. You know what I mean?
If you like it, I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you, man. I got you.
What you want to say? What you want to say, Mo?
I said, George, if you like it, I love it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly, bro.
I'm a team player over here, man.
I will take. Look, man. Look. I didn't seen enough bad linebackers for like y'all not gonna get me. Like I'm like honestly, that's why I want my man. That's why I want my man Jamin Davis to play more. I'm like he could do better than this. Like
I think that if you bring him in, there's going to be
who in? Which one?
It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem fit because he's gonna have to play outside linebacker. I mean, I disagree with George in that his deficiencies are in his athleticism.
Smith.
Yeah,
okay.
I think Jaylon Smith is still very athletic. I think, his metrics jump off the page. Mm-hmm. He gives me a lot of LeVar Arrington when he was in DC vibes, like just freelancing and just raw. You can't freelance on a bad defense, right? Mm-hmm. When you freelance on a bad defense, you look even worse, right? Because you're the one that they could spot out. You're in the middle of the field. Mm. You don't have any decent. They don't have any safeties that are of major consideration. Outside of Trayvon Diggs' interceptions this year, I mean, he's still a liability in coverage most times. He's just catching the ball this year.
Yeah, 5 interceptions already, man. That's crazy.
Right. They don't get too much pressure either. Mm-hmm. So quarterbacks are standing back there with all day. When you're roaming and you're just trying to make a play because of the deficiencies behind you and in front of you, I think there's a big marker on you. And you being a Pro Bowl player, especially with Wolf Hunter also having his issues, I think there's problems there, right? And then the team drafted 3 linebackers this year.
They got Micah Parsons. Who did they get the second round? What was
that? They got to give him LSU
they got
too.
Micah Parsons brought in LSU.
What's his name? Jabril Cox. Yeah, he's good coverage. It should be a good coverage linebacker in theory, but I don't know if he's doing that well.
Number 14. So I think they saw an opportunity where it wasn't going to get any better on defense. I don't think it's going to get any better on defense in Dallas. So I think they saw an opportunity to get these young boys some reps, and it was no way they were going to get Jaylon Smith off the field any other way.
Yeah.
Right? It was no way they was going to get him off the field any other way. So Jerry's loyalty probably was like, you know what, let me cut him, pay him, and give him an opportunity to go wherever he wants to go, even though, because you got to remember, coming out the draft after the injury, Jerry went up. Jerry drafted him high.
They did him a solid.
They did, like early second round or something like that, right?
Yeah. Let him have a red shirt here. Mm-hmm. He let him have a red shirt here. Now he's leaving. He's letting him leave with $7.2 million and selection of his choice. So he's clearly one of Jerry's favorites because that's how Jerry operates, right? So I think that he'd be a good addition in most places he go. I think that Jamin Davis just needs to be on the. I said it before. When you take somebody in the top 20, he got to play. Yeah. When you take somebody in the top 20, that person has to play, and you have to play a lot.
Especially with defensive players.
The Giants drafting, especially
with defensive players.
My problem with the Giants drafting Kadarius Toney. I was like, where are you going to put him on the field, right? Mm-hmm. So Jamin Davis has to man the middle. I think the cerebral part of the game he probably hadn't caught up to before this point. But Bostic plays so bad, and now don't get me wrong, you have to line people up. That's the responsibility of the middle line, and that's a lot on a 1-year starter from college. Don't get me, coming out of, even though he came out the SEC. Yeah. So Bostic being there, I could understand why the coaching staff will go with somebody that can line everybody up and let the athlete just be the athlete when they put him in, right? So Jamin Davis, he has to graduate right now. Mm-hmm. He was a top 20 pick. We got to see it right now. Because there's no reason why behind that front that they shouldn't just be filling all the gaps and stopping everything. All right? That's what good linebackers are supposed to do behind a good defensive line.
Yeah.
So if you add Jaylon Smith to this group, there will be an improvement there. He might be out of position initially, but his athleticism should shine on the outside. And you could probably interchange him and Jamin because they're going to have the same.
You can do that.
They're going to have
the
same issue anyway, right?
Yeah.
Getting everybody lined up. He's not going to come in and get everybody lined, even though he's a vet. He's not. He's coming from a 3-4 system to this, to a 4-3 front. So. Hopefully, but possibly because of his athleticism and his, in his play over the course of his years, maybe the better front in front of him will make him play at a better, decent clip. Mm-hmm. So it's worth a flyer. But Reuben Foster, you gotta get Reuben Foster. You gotta get that out of here.
That's all right, man. Don't be hating on Reuben, man. Man. Look, man, I've always loved Jaylon Smith. I will say, I know when what happened to Notre Dame, I felt so bad for him. Mm-hmm. And then I wanted to draft him, so I wanted to do what Dallas did. I had that much faith in the kid. Like I was like, I thought they could do it later on. Like Dallas went a little too hard. Like the second round, I was like, oh, that's what
like
first pick.
Yeah, exactly. 32 seconds to me, exactly. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, that's a little too much. Like, no, don't do that. It's not that serious. But I was all for getting him later on and just redshirting him. You know what I mean? Like I was cool with that because to me, if you got that healthy, that's star talent. That's one of the best linebackers in the game type of talent. So I'm on the same place. Like if you, like Mo just stated, like if you can put that in with this defensive front, which everyone thinks is supposed to be great, with the talent they have, right? It should be easier for him to navigate through certain things. Like, yeah, in coverage, a lot of linebackers have issues with coverage. Not like you just want to be crap in coverage, but they have issues, right? But if you get pressure, if they are getting constant pressure, then it makes his life a little easier. You know what I mean? If that can happen. But we're still waiting on that. We're still waiting on the front four to get pressure on a regular. So we're still waiting on that. So that's an issue
that's
too.
That's a lot of team speed though, Wole.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I agree.
It is.
That's a lot of team speed. Yeah, I agree. But I'm saying that's just still an issue though. That's still an issue.
Yeah, then one thing to jump on there with Jaylon Smith is he doesn't have to play like 40, 50, 70 snaps, dude. We have all the linebackers. Mm-hmm. We've been creative with our packages too. Like I actually peeped the last game. It was like we had Landon Collins playing weak side linebacker last game. We had Cameron Curl playing some Buffalo nickel too. So we can sprinkle him in. If we need him on third downs or whatever it could be, we could fit him in there. So I'm not opposed to bringing him in. Why not? And I do like that team speed. And he might be our he might be our best coverage linebacker right now, considering what we got. You never know, man. I like Holcomb, but whatever. We'll see. I
like Holcomb too. No, yeah. I think Holcomb has been like, even the pass that Holcomb gave up, he was there. He didn't turn. I like Holcomb. I think Holcomb is I think he's good. He's an all
a B.
Pro?
Yeah.
But he's good. He's good. Yeah. He's solid. He's a starter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Just go ahead and convince Landon Collins to play outside back.
That's everybody. Look, man, he needs to do
and let Cameron Curl do what Cameron Curl
does. That's a whole different argument there too. It's like, all right, you had a good unit. I mean, no knock on. I mean, everybody's crapping on McCain, and that's cool. I mean, he did get burnt over the weekend, but I think if you give him a combination of just him and Curl, I think McCain would be better. But if it continues to be bad with McCain, you had a combination in Reeves and Curl that was efficient last year. Like they did vibe each other in terms of how they play safety together. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, it's chemistry still everything in football and in sports. And those two had chemistry.
That's something to keep an eye on, because we keep on. I do like Jack Del Rio being creative, kind of flipping things around. Like, I don't know if you saw, there's one play where he had Chase Young and Montez Sweat on one side of the same line, right, together. Mm-hmm. And he's definitely switching, Curl and Collins over and over again. That may have some benefits, or maybe it's also creating some problems too with chemistry, right? Like I said about that, like you have your running partner you can talk to and have that nonverbal communication. But if you're constantly flipping people, maybe that's a problem right there. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think that they need to. I mean, you just go what works for you at a particular whenever that was. I don't care if it's this season or last, whatever. Something worked for you last year. It worked for you. You may need to. So you have some of the same players that were on that unit last year that you're not even playing. So you can go back to that route if you're still worried about Luke giving up. My whole thing is, you're going to give a big play. Like, you're going to give up a big play. Like, blitz and give up a big play. Don't give a big play off just base coverage. Like, that's just that means nothing. That's stupid to me. It's asinine. Like, come on, if you're gonna give a big play, gamble and give him a big play.
Don't let it be vanilla.
Don't give him a big play when you just bring a 4 and somebody bites and it's a deep. Like, no, if you're gonna do it, then you go in. All right. Like, I'm all about, if you gonna gamble right. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you, Wole. Don't be conservative getting burnt.
No, don't be conservative and get burnt. Who does that? Like, you're still giving up big plays. My issue with this team, you're giving up. They talk about like, oh, if we blitz, we're gonna give up big plays. You're giving up big plays on base coverage. Did you not see what you're doing? Like, did you not watch the Giants game with Slayton, the one he dropped? Like, y'all wouldn't bring in pressure. Like, you're getting burnt on the regular without even gambling.
Hey, and
it's always a William Jackson.
Huh?
Leave the Giants out.
I'm sorry, my bad. I'm just using examples, bro. I'm sorry. That was a game somebody got burnt. I'm not mean. I don't mean it that way. You had like, who was around Patterson? Like, Patterson, nobody was around him, and there was no pressure. Like, that was just.
It was. Oops. The first one was a great call though, with Kyle Pitts, started getting going and sending him across. Come on now, you can't.
It was a call, yeah. No, again, but no, I'm not. I'm not knocking. I'm not even knocking the play design. I'm knocking that you getting burnt on base coverage. I don't care about play design. Bring a blitz if you're gonna get burnt. Bring a blitz. If I play Madden and I go with an all-out blitz and then I don't get there and it's a touchdown, I'm like, all right, I get it. I went out with an all-out blitz. If I'm in coverage and I'm getting burnt, that's a problem. Like, that's because I played to not give up a big play. You know what I'm saying? That's my issue.
Coach to that, Wole, man. It ain't got to be all or nothing.
Look, man. I'd rather you get. I'm talking like 20 yards, nobody. Are you serious? There's different levels of getting burnt. Like that type of play, I'm thinking like when I saw that play, I was like, what was the extra defender blitzing? Like I was like, he's too wide open to not have an extra man or two blitzing. I was like, oh, this is just four rushing the quarterback, and he's that wide open. That happens.
It's always William Jackson, man. It was Stephon Diggs. It was Darius Slayton, and it was Cordell Patterson. And basically, William Jackson will go like this, expect to basically the safety come behind him and help him out. And every single time it wasn't.
That man get his hands on people, so he can utilize his speed. If you can't get his hands on people, you got him in space, and he's expecting help, and the back end ain't there. No matter how fast he ran, it's not going to mean for nothing. So they're going to run away from him.
So true. All right, let's go to the Saints game. Washington has the Saints next Sunday. On Sunday, what challenges do the Saints pose for Washington, George?
So the Saints are good all around, man. Yeah. So they people everyone always thinks for one, Sean Payton is an awesome coach. I think I'll put him up there with Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid, Sean Payton are like them two are the two most dynamic offensive minds in my opinion. And everyone always gives Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay props. So those are my guys, Sean Payton, Andy Reid. I do think Jameis Winston has the arm to do whatever he wants. He can launch the ball downfield. But with Michael Thomas out and other wide receivers out, the Saints wide receiving core really isn't that impressive to me. They have Marquez Callaway or something like that. He's their deep threat. Kamara's a beast. We got to watch out for him. He's going to explode. But I think their defense is strong, man. They have Cameron Jordan, Demario Davis. They have Marcus Lattimore. He's awesome. He's a beast. Their defense is solid. So it's going to be. Yeah, Marshawn Lattimore is exactly right. So Marcus is it's like someone else from South Carolina. So I don't know. The Saints defense is going to be strong altogether. Can Taylor Heinicke, Cameron Jordan's going to blow up the line. Can he, escape pressure? Can he produce on the Saints defense? And can we stop that deep throw? Because that's what Jameis Winston wants to do. It's going to be Kamara open in space, Kamara on Jamin Davis. It's going to be kind of interesting to watch that. It's going to be a pretty bad matchup for us. And just can we keep pace? And I don't know. The Saints are very similar to Washington. I don't want to say very similar, but they have deficiencies too. It's a coin flip. What Saints team is going to show up on Sunday, and we'll see, man. It's going to be a very interesting coin flip. So I think it's going to be close. I don't want to say it's going to be close because you never know what the hell's going to happen. But I don't think we're outmatched. I think if we come to play, it's going to be a good game.
What's scary about that game is obviously you mentioned Sean Payton. It's just that what he can do when he sees this defense. It's just like the matchups. And you mentioned the matchup that I think that's going to be a problem. It's going to be Kamara versus the linebacking core. I mean, I do think it's good for Jamin Davis to see a Kamara though in terms of his development. I do think him trying to check a Kamara at times would be good for him. He needs that. Like we talk about quarterbacks who need to play. This is good for him so he can learn the NFL game and knowing that you're going to see dudes like this if you plan to be that type of linebacker. And for one thing about him that I have liked, that when we have seen him in space and coverage, he's been good. He's been solid. He hasn't been horrible. He's been better than some of the other individuals, put it that way. So he gets an opportunity to go against that, but it's still a mismatch, though. This is the problem. He's a problem. Like, Kamara is going to be the problem for this Washington football team. But, yeah, I mean, and you mentioned defensively, they're strong. I don't think people talk about it as much. Everybody's like, oh, Saints are beatable. Defense travels. You know what I mean? Like, they have a really good defense. They stop the run. I think they're up there stopping the run. And, in the run game, you got, Gibson, who you do want to kind of get him off so can kind of bring some type of puts Heinicke at ease and Scott Turner at ease to develop a running game. So, because you're going to have Scary Terry against Lattimore, who's still one of the better cornerbacks in the league. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I imagine him lining up with Scary Terry and to see how, and that's going to be an interesting matchup. And we can't always, though we see how Scary is looking, and he's looking great. Lattimore has shut down a lot of good wide receivers in the NFL. So it's not a given that Scary Terry's going to win all the time against Lattimore, to be honest with you. I expect Scary to win, but it's not a given, right? And then so it's really going to be predicated on Samuel or whatever wide receiver lines up at two, because that's going to be the matchup they need to win. They are going to have to dominate that matchup for Washington to win this football game.
For sure. And we didn't even talk about Taysom Hill, man. We have a problem with mobile quarterbacks, man. So what are we going to do with him in the ball game? So we'll see what's up with that.
I think that Taysom Hill is going to be the downfall of that team.
Washington.
Oh, the Saints at Washington.
The Saints.
I know.
What's gonna happen? Yeah.
The Saints. I think Taysom Hill's gonna be downfall of that team. I think that Sean Payton still thinks he has that game manager / Hall of Fame Drew Brees at times when he puts this kid in the game, right? But he has more and more confidence about his arm. But whenever they turn over the ball, it's Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
When they turn the ball over, it's Taysom Hill. Like Taysom Hill threw an interception against the Giants this weekend. That was unforgivable. Like it. Don't get me wrong. He had the play where he broke 7 tackles and whatnot, but like I think he trusts Taysom Hill a little too much. I think he wants to be right about Taysom Hill every once in a while, and he puts him in positions where it hurts them ultimately because he's not even close to every down throw of the football, right? And you have to set up his throws. You have to set up his with other things that he does over the course of the game so that he can get those off. But without Mike Thomas, without Mike Thomas and without the tight end that they lost, the Jared Cook, like there's not that many weapons to go around, right? Yeah, and that's why, like, I don't think James is throwing for 250 yards in the game.
He threw 200. No, this year was like the most yards he threw, I think.
Yeah, 226 last week.
Yeah,
right?
That's the most he's thrown. That's the most
week one, he had like 175, but like 4 touctouchdowns or something, or 5 touchdowns. Yeah, something like that. He blew up the first week. He had a lot of touchdowns, but now
his touchdown rate is okay. It's his
right.
He's a yard.
He's not turning the ball over at the rate that he should, right?
Yeah, he's not. They've been real safe with him.
The defense has had some blow ups, like.
A couple, I mean, certain games, like the Carolina game, they got and then even this game. Yeah, because it's like they put this game was like,
Saquon was wide open on a play. Saquon was wide open. Like, who doesn't put their eyes on 26?
Cool. He helped me with my fantasy league. I'm good with that. I won't.
Hey, listen, I got him too.
Him is scary, man. They're great, man. They're great people. Continue. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
So I think it's going to be a tightly contested game. I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. I think it's going to be a tightly contested game because of my newfound buddy, Taylor Heinicke.
Heinicke.
So, I like to see him against this defense. I like to see how he progresses. I mean, he knows where to go with the ball. There's a familiarity there with Terry McLaurin and the Marshawn Lattimore matchup from school, clearly. But Terry comes up big in big moments, and Taylor Heinicke hasn't shown us anything to think that he won't play well. So I think this game is a lot closer than people think. Like I'm even willing to say that Washington's going to win the game.
Oh, look at Ray, what you got, bro?
Well, I'm just going to reiterate the point that I believe that the Washington football team need not defer. I think you need to go ahead and get ahead of the Saints.
Facts, man.
I'm serious. I think you make Jameis play from behind. You guys are talking about how he hasn't thrown for a ton of yards yet. Well, that's a good thing. And also, he's just a mental case. He's got all the talent in the world, but what holds him back is this. And I think that if you get in front of him, if you make the Saints and Jameis play from behind, I think that bodes well for your defense. And your defense needs a confidence game. And this is the opportunity. I'm not picking Washington because I don't have the heart to keep picking Heinicke every week. But at the same time, this is a game at home that hopefully you can get this game. And I don't care about schedule. I tell you that all the time. Well, that's it, because you got the Chiefs. Yeah, the Chiefs defense looks just as bad as Washington's, right? So that's a winnable game. Green Bay's defense does not look the strongest.
Winnable game. Who?
I ain't saying nothing about no Chiefs or nobody else, bro.
Listen, my point is, hey. Okay, either way, if the schedule's hard or if it's not, you want to get this game at home.
That's it.
Oh, you laughed about Heinicke. Now you about to order his jersey. And you got on
I laughed about Heinicke going to a playoff game when you never seen him.
But no, real talk though.
No, I'm talking about in general. The whole
but I will say real talk a couple weeks ago.
Y'all wanted Heinicke.
To Ray's point, everybody had New Orleans like that was a game. New Orleans was going to beat the Giants. Like everybody assumed that was going to happen.
That's true, 100%.
And Sunday. So the schedules, I know what Ray's saying. Like when you look at schedule, be like, there's no way that the Saints were going like
Philly was in the game against
Kansas City. Yeah.
Whatever you want to say.
Oh, I don't think
it's all about turnovers.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying you want to say. Jameis ain't Patrick Mahomes, okay? Y'all can cancel Christmas
I'm
on
not,
that.
I'm not comparing
The
the
secondary
team.
can't check.
When nobody is comparing. Look, this
I
you
didn't
going
say you're
left.
comparing.
You going all the way.
What I'm saying is, you have two of the last MVPs of the league coming up in back-to-back weeks.
That's tough, man.
Your secondary is hurt.
Yeah, it's tough,
right
man.
now.
But I will say this though. Can I say this though about the
and you
Packers,
think that any given Sunday is going to apply to those two Sundays?
Yeah, any given Sunday, bro. I don't even care. Look, I'm not saying they're going to
apply to those two Sundays.
But I will say
The
Saints
beat the heck out
They
the
got
Packers.
a good track record. Washington has a good track record against Aaron Rodgers in the past. FYI. Just letting you know.
The Saints beat the heck out the Packers.
They have a good track record.
I'll take that bet blind. I'll take those two games bet blind right now. Y'all ain't winning those two games.
All right, look, this is recorded right now. That's why I love our recording. It's always somewhere.
George, this is the part where they called me a hater, George.
I ain't called you a hater. No one's called you a hater. Look,
No. You just I don't mind what you're saying, but you always so definitive with everything you say. You the guaranteed guy. The guaranteed guy all the time.
Right.
Dude, I'm just saying, listen.
That's the name of prognostication, is to pick a point and go with it. Okay.
He does got to roll with it. You got to stick with your point.
Ride the fence. You ain't supposed to be on the fence. You're supposed to pick your. I drew my line of the same.
All right, so hey George, give me a score, man. Give me a score, man.
Against the Saints game, damn.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The prediction.
I honestly so right now I actually looked at it. The Saints are favored to win by 3. I don't know if you saw that yet. So Saints are favored to win by 3.
I figured they would be.
I think it's going to be another shootout again. I think 27-24 Saints. I don't want to say that, but I think it's Saints are going to pull it out. I do think we have a chance, though. I think we haven't seen that Jameis Winston blow up game yet. This guy's not far removed from a 30 interception season. We aren't that far away from Jameis Winston. If he kind of starts going that route and throwing some picks, we might get into that game. I don't know, but I just feel like, Sean Payton, against our defense isn't showing too much right now. So I don't have faith, but it's a coin flip, but I do think the Saints are going to pull it out 27-24.
Mo was good.
Washington by a touchdown, man. Washington by a touchdown.
There you go.
Like Ray said, go ahead. Get the ball first, score, get Jameis on his heels, send the Wolves after him, because that's the way they need to hunt. Yeah. Send the Wolves after him, get them flustered, play the run on the way to the quarterback. Right. Washington by 7.
Ray, it's good. Ray, what's up?
I just can't keep picking Heinicke. I'm sorry. I mean, and listen, no, I've been a Heinicke advocate, real talk, because I said it weeks ago. I've been putting it on Twitter. He is growing on me, but these plays where you scramble and you just kind of loft it. Yeah, listen, he's been blessed. It's been dropped interceptions in the Giants game and the Falcons game. I mean, blatant ones. That I would have caught him if I was out there. So. I can't roll with Heinicke this week. If the defense don't step up, this is one of those weeks where I think Heinicke, comes back to earth. Real talk. Even though I do like him, I've been saying that for a while.
This is the week
24-14. I don't think Washington really scores a lot. And then I don't know about the kicker situation either. That kind of bothers me as well. So
Wole, this is the week for the defense to get right. There's no premier wide receiver out there. There's no premier wide receiver.
Now, can Washington win? Of course. You know what? I just told y'all, Washington to me has the talent. Again, especially with Samuel back, they have the talent to beat anybody. Period.
Yeah, it's a huge game, man. Yeah. If we pull this out and get 3-2, then have Kansas City next week and lose to that. I mean,
what I'm saying,
you know what I'm saying?
You build confidence, man. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got all just because of fandom. All the fandom. I'm picking Washington just because of fandom.
I'm not picking Washington against Mahomes even more.
Not either. I'm not doing that either. I'm not doing that game though. That game's gonna be Patrick Mahomes all day, every day. This game right here,
ain't no way.
I like Jameis, but this game right here, I'm off of fandom alone, 24-20 Washington. But I will say this though. I mean, I know everybody's talking about New Orleans not having number one wide receiver, premier wide receiver, this, that, and the other. But man, I should make everybody look good. So I'm at a point where I don't even care who.
Atlanta didn't even. They had Cordell Patterson and
I like Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley beat though.
Cordell has a run in there.
I'm talking about coming into the game. I said Cordell Patterson has been the Falcons' leading receiver, bro, and that's what it turned out to be.
And that man was not a good route runner.
Did you see the drops again? See, Calvin really benefited from Julio, even though he had big games when Julio was out. Don't get it twisted. But trust me, man, right now, look, it don't matter who's lining up against Washington. Everybody's open.
And if I'm Jameis, I'm like, okay, I haven't thrown for 300 yards. Yeah, I'm gonna catch up now.
We're
I'm
getting
gonna catch up.
Get in front of him. Make him come from behind. I'm telling you. Put that.
Man,
You say, George?
I'll say it's getting bad. It's getting to the point where you might have to like stream a quarterback in fantasy against Washington.
I'm serious. No, I think you should.
It's getting to that point. How bad is that, man?
I have James on my team, and I'm thinking about it.
A good play, man.
But also, I have Jameis. But also, I have Kirk Cousins playing against Detroit Lions. So I'm like, I can go either way. I can go either way.
The thing that just drives me crazy, though, I think we're kind of wrapping it up, though. Yeah, basically, dude. We have a 32nd ranked defense on third down conversions. We give up 60% of the third down conversions. I think it's like 42 out of 61 or something like it's 42 already after 4 weeks. And we just keep giving it up. It's awful, man. So
Falcons with 10-16. Those two stops came at the right time, even though, that's a whole other
It's terrible because it's like, and a lot of them are like 3rd and 16 and 3rd and
13. Yeah.
They're like
it's either they either get it or we get a penalty. It's pretty much what happens every single time.
That's what I'm saying. See, this is that Ron Rivera loyalty thing, man. I think Ron Rivera is probably one of the best friends you could ever have in like
arrogance. unless you're Dwayne, unless you're going to see the strippers with no mask.
Yeah, I know. He don't like strippers.
That's a deal breaker. You gotta wear your mask. It's the coldest stuff that pisses him off.
You know what my situation. You gotta wear your mask. You can't be
I ain't finna be over here fighting cancer and you all here doing whatever. You gotta go.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you on the strip clubs and eating chicken wings.
You gotta go home.
You know what I'm saying? Terrible, bro. You can't be doing stuff like that, man. Poor Dwayne. What's Dwayne? Dwayne can play for Pittsburgh, though. He can play. There's a chance. Hey, George, before we let you go, man, how can our folks catch your podcast and how can they catch you on social media? I can see your Twitter handle right there, though.
No, it's all good, guys. So thank you first of all, thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it. Nice meeting you, Mo and Ray. Good to see you guys. And you guys are always welcome to come on my podcast any given time. Awesome. So I write for fullpresscoverage.com. You guys will see me and follow me at gcarmi21. I usually put up pregame and postgame write-ups every week. And I have a podcast running every Wednesday. We usually record at 6 and put it up around 8 o'clock. Awesome. So tomorrow we're recording. I got Trevor. I got my man Manny, my man Hans from Twitter. If you guys know who they are, ready to come on here to have some fun tomorrow. It'll be a good time. So, check us out. We'll be streaming live on my FPC_Washington handle. And I'll probably retweet it as well. So people us on Twitter. And you guys are more than welcome to come on at any given time, fellas. Any one of you guys.
Oh, definitely. We appreciate it. I'm going to retweet it once I see it. All right.
Sounds good, man.
Sounds good. All right. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Search all Burgundy and go Errrything with Urban Sports Scene. Also tweet us at Urban Sports Scene and hit us up on our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Anyway, we appreciate everybody for listening. Appreciate the homie George for being on. You've been listening to All Burgundy and Gold Errrything with the Urban Sports Scene on Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, both ages. You dig? Deuces, a mega. This out, big homie.